Guys? Hey, everyone. Are you okay? They don't look okay. Are you okay? Can you hear me? No, leaning closer to their face is not going to... Selv, buddy, are you with us?
5 more minutes. Yes,
And Selv will open his eyes and start blinking.
As you open your eyes, you see the not wholly concerned face of a familiar turtle wizard.
Why does my mouth taste like blueberries? Boy.
Kaskrin, please! You see Kaskrin, the dwarven warlock. As you wake, you see Azan, the shop merchant who was also here. He rushes over and he seems to have something in his hands, and he pushes it up to your mouth as you are saying this.
And Kaskrin inadvertently takes a deep whiff of whatever he's got held in front of him.
Oh, it's empty. So you go to take this whiff as if it's smelling salts, and he's like, "Oh, no, excuse me, Kaskrin. I'm so sorry, my friend. If you have any desire to spit, do it into this receptacle, please. It's actually what you're describing is a very it's not important. Can you? How many fingers am I holding up? That's a canon pause. I'm saying that out loud.
11d2.
Okay.
And Kaskrin squints and looks at Azan and is like, 12?
This merchant, still again dressed in all of his fineries, who is still holding his bowl up to you. He looks at you, sees that you're trying to process, and he just, you actually need to spit into this bowl, please.
And Kaskrin takes the bowl and shuffles off to the side and spits into it.
Very good, very good.
Checkers sits bolt upright all of a sudden and just goes, Violet, get up! We gotta get you to the bowl! Oh man, it's just you guys. This sucks. Val, you up? You alright? You alright?
I'm here, Checkers.
Alright. Good job. We did it. Yeah.
Self will actually grab Trankar's arm and just say,
Is it closed? Is it closed behind us?
Trankar pats your hand, seemingly unaffected by how hard you are gripping his arm, and he kind of helps you up a little bit, just gets your feet underneath you, lets you lean on him a little bit. And as a reminder, he is a large, fairly burly, and not particularly clothed turtle, other than his large wizard hat, and sometimes robes. Not now. He kind of turns you around, and you see behind you the restricted section of the Agmar Library. Now back on the other side. You find yourself in the library itself, and in front of you, as Trankar kind of gestures, is the vault door, which is now closed once more. All around the door, you see all of the various sigils, all of the arcane post-it notes that were left there are curling and burnt, as if there was some intense heat just expelling from the vault itself.
Having seen that, Self will kind of reach into his robes and take out the little origami dragonborn he was given before entering. How does that look?
So I know that Checkers' was burnt entirely.
Yep, his is
while you
gone.
were in there.
Cascarin's was a little bit singed.
I think everyone's was starting to turn, as I recall. You can tell now. You take it out, and you are only able to get a tiny black fragment as the rest of it dissolves in your pocket, as it was so fragile that the simple act of handling it caused it to give out its last little bit of life. Now that Azan and Trankar have kind of started helping you guys, now you guys notice as everyone's attention kind of turns back to the vault door, you see that Paulus Calvetta, who is Vina Calvetta's brother, head of the guard, and just seemingly just magical rich guy who is here helping you guys. This is the first time you guys have met him, and is now replacing some wards just kind of for the sake of caution all around it. Trankar says, well, I don't know what all went on in there, but it seems like whatever you did, you pretty much kept everything inside.
No, we didn't.
Pretty much.
I'm going to look at the pile of books that I brought through that may or may not be in the form of Titanius.
Yeah, so those are actually at this point, and you guys were ejected from the library. This wasn't like a fun, like, oh, and then we strolled out. It was you guys got pulled out, and then you woke up. So for many of you, that means you are sprawled, your stuff is scattered all around you, and for you, Selv, that includes the pile of books. It was kind of just in a crash landing site where you woke up from, but all of your stuff is still there. At least anything that you brought in with you, save for the books.
Selv and Trankar have been talking, I feel like Val would have been like picking up the books and like most likely seeing a ghost not with them, just trying to restack them in the exact order that made up Titanius to see if it like
That's exactly
puzzles
what I was
him
going
back
to say.
together.
Yep. So while everyone's kind of getting their bearings, you guys are frantically ordering all of these books, and eventually you slide everything into an order, which is the Pentarchy Dewey Decimal System order that they would all be listed in, obviously. And there is a shift in the atmosphere, and you hear a now comforting, blood-curdling scream. Ah! And then just bonk. Right on where the books are is a seated and very shaken dwarven ghost. And he looks around. What happened? Where are we? What's going on?
Like, image of Titanius, or does he look solid?
It is his ghost.
Okay.
It is the ghost of Titanius. And you see in this moment, Trankar, who's been still right by you, step forward as this ghost appears, and a little mote of fire starts to build into his hand.
So I will.
All right,
I'll put my hand on Trankar's shoulder and say,
Wait. It's okay. He's with us. Titanius, welcome to the unrestricted section of the library.
And Cascarin has mostly recovered at this point and will go up to...
Your spit is purple, by the
Yes,
way.
yeah.
You've gotten most of it out. It's now running clear like a tap, but it was wrong.
And Cascarin will go up to Trankar and say, I know that we weren't supposed to bring anything out of the restricted section except for the books. But
Technically, they're books.
technically they are books, and I think we can make an exception for more books.
Val will look around to see if Andromeda is in the room.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because just as Cascarin is admitting to
Wow, property theft.
bending the rules a little bit, you guys hear footsteps coming down the long hallway that led you guys to this section. And eventually you guys see the form of three individuals, two-ish individuals. You see Vina Calvetta, again, the head of the Agmar City Guard, who kind of escorted you guys here. looking very intense, walking with a lot of purpose. And it's probably even followed by a couple of Red Guardsmen. We'll say Namgar and Jack Brill are both there.
Nice.
The Hedgehog Man and everyone's a lot of dwarves suddenly. Everyone's favorite wife guy, dwarf guard Namgar, as well as Andromeda, the kind of large spidery creature who works the front desk. She is additionally holding.
Serval Rentado.
Yes! Wow! Damn, good point.
On fire without notes.
Yeah.
The steel trap, unless you ask me, Vina Falcone's brother.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody can remember.
That's all right.
his
Again,
name.
you barely met him, and that was like 40 episodes ago. And he is carrying indeed the head of Serval Rentado, we'll say the sort of head librarian-ish.
Head librarian.
Yeah.
Hey.
Who is just a desiccated head in a jar that talks via beeps and the occasional printed items. Vina hears you say this, Kaskrin, admit that, well, we brought maybe a couple things out that we maybe weren't supposed to. And she marches straight up to you and says, Kaskrin, status report, how are you all? What has escaped? Is there something that I need to know about? Do we need to rouse the rest of the guard?
Sorry, before Kaskrin can fully dive in, Val just takes a defensive pose in front of Titanius.
who, by the way, is now very loudly weeping. He has not moved. His little stubby dwarf legs are just sticking out in front of him, and he is just scream crying. He is so overwhelmed with relief and emotion. If he could produce mucus, it would be the grossest cry, but it's just kind of unsettling now.
Mm-hmm.
So as this is all caterwauling and you jump in front,
Kaskrin is coming off that high of success, having exited the restricted section, and he's going to look straight into Vina's eyes and say, Miss Calvetta, Vina, can I call you Vina?
you cannot call me miss, but go ahead.
We just got out of the restricted section, and I feel like we just need a little bit of a break, all right? So don't you worry. I'll get you your book report a little bit later. And Kaskrin gives her, the dumbest, smarmiest grin.
Val mind links Self, and it's like, is he drunk?
What
What happened?
And actually, Self doesn't respond mentally, but just kind of slowly nods his head.
Mm-hmm.
Vina starts to bristle at what you just said and then looks around and sees everyone else looking very weird at Kaskrin, including the other people who are not even in the guild being like, wait, what? And she just kind of steps aside as Izan moves forward and is like, Kaskrin, my friend, why don't we have you sit down over? Oh, is that is the bucket full? Good. Well done, my friend. Good job. If I could just take that. Actually, I need you to, unfortunately, as he adds a couple drops something, I need you to now drink this.
And Kaskrin will swirl around a little bit and look at Izan, and then, well, bottoms up. Cheers, everyone.
And then Izan looks at you all and is like, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. Don't worry about it.
Selv will actually move to be closer to Vina and say,
It's not so much that we took something that we weren't supposed to. We found someone in there that was stuck when the restricted section was sealed, and we brought them back out.
Val will kind of look at Andromeda and Serval and kind of point to Titanius, but then address Vina and say, this is Titanius, the librarian of the restricted section, who was manning his desk when the Pentarchy sealed it all those decades ago. These books are what his soul is attached to, and we've brought those out so that Titanius is no longer alone in the restricted section void for eternity.
Andromeda, upon hearing this, is shocked for a minute, and she holds 2 or 3 of her hands up to her mouth as she kind of gasps, and she leans in to Selv, who, because you're kind of up front and talking, is he safe? Is he safe to go up to? And he's still just crying, scream crying. Maybe he isn't even aware of that he's being talked about at this point.
I think he may just need some time to, collect himself, but, I have gotten no indication that he is dangerous.
She kind of looks at everyone else for briefest confirmation.
Val will nod.
He has been extremely helpful in us finding the books we needed.
Andromeda takes kind of a deep breath, and then you can see on her spidery features a look that you can only describe as determined hospitality. As her features shift, you see the Servo Rentado, the, again, desiccated, zombied head in the jar. His face doesn't change. It's slack-jawed still. But she goes over and is like, hi there. Hi, my name's Andromeda. Are you Titanius? Yeah, yes. And, hey, I am also, I hear you are a librarian. I don't know. I've been trying. And, you guys see, from behind her back, several thumbs up from Andromeda being like, it's okay. I got this. It'll be all right.
Selv will then kind of give a quick little elbow nudge to Trankar and just kind of lean in almost like a conspiratorial type and just say,
imagine how much on-call back pay he's going to be getting for this.
I don't know about you, Selv, he says with a small smirk, but it would take a lot of spine to stay at your desk for so long. Ha, ha, ha.
And that laugh in front of the magical door of the restricted section opens a void in the Red City.
Yep, and Apocalypse.
Kashgrin takes another swig of whatever potion Azan handed him. Is like, I got that one.
Paulus, actually, you've been still, I think, searching was kind of the vibe that I was getting. Checkers?
Yeah, and at this point, Checkers launches into an explanation of what we have encountered in the restricted section. And he's just like, and first we went into this library and there was like, hail the grand servicious. And then we went down into the depths of the library and they're like, you are not worthy. Oh. And then there was a game show.
Checkers is just trauma dumping.
And as he's going through, I also am picturing all these people kind of looking towards the rest of us and being like, yeah, right. And then us kind of like nodding of
the one time in Checkers' life he has not embellished.
He has not exaggerated one bit.
And Paulus, Calvetta, and Jack Brill, the hedgehog guard, hedgehog man guard, I guess I should specify. It's not just a head, like a little tiny hedgehog.
Can he be? Yeah, he should be though.
It's too late. We've already established in canon.
Dang.
He is the one taking notes on your thing, and he has already gone through 4 or 5 pages of mini notebook. He's, wait, sorry, could you go back? And you said...
And he threw a bucket at me.
Okay, now, was there like a significance to the bucket, or... And Paulus is
and all of us were tiny little babies and we clung on to Selv.
Okay, yep, that's fine. I'm gonna have to run this up with the
and
SVU.
The theme song came on and it was like burp, 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 burp.
Paulus puts a hand on maybe both of your shoulders at this juncture, and he says, checkers. While Jack catches up on his notes, and Jack Brill's eyes have gone crossed at this point. I noticed you were looking for something.
Yeah, my bird, Wandershins. He came out with us.
Now, when you say your bird...
I guess I don't really mean my bird. He's his own bird, but I was riding him when we came out.
And from the restricted section, that's where it came from.
Yep.
Okay. Paulus looks at you and just nods and turns around and addresses the other people who are in the room, kind of the non-Golden Tree members, I suppose, of the people in the room. And he says, everyone, we were right. There was an arcane discharge just before or just as the Golden Tree exited. It was relatively small, but it did get past the wards. It'll be something that we'll have to keep an eye out for. I at least don't think it's going to be anything we need to worry about right now. But otherwise, checking all these wards, I think we've relatively come out unscathed. And he turns around almost immediately and starts talking to Checkers again and says, so you said bird.
Yeah.
Was it, how tall was this bird?
Oh, he was big, like 7-8 feet tall. Val said he looked like a cassowary, but I was more in line with like an ostrich bird kind of thing that we have in Rixia. I don't know, it looked kind of weird, but...
Okay, but it was a walking avian.
Oh yeah, he was great at walking.
Okay, that does explain it. We did see a shadow. Shadow's probably not the best way to describe it. Almost a rainbow shimmer kind of charge out as you all exited. We at first were worried that something was coming out. Then we thought maybe it was some sort of arcane wormhole or kind of like slip force dragging you kind of behind it. But it was a bird. All right. Jack, go ahead. I'll leave you to it. And Jack's like, okay, so these walls that had the holes, the shapes that were your bodies that you had to move around and like fit your body into the hole. What? Can you just start from the top of that one again?
And Kaskrin, at this point, has, like, wandered over to Namgar and has his arm over Namgar's shoulder and is just, like, drunkenly swigging this potion wherever's in it. And is just like, you hear that, Namgar? Paul said we did it. We came out unscathed. Look at us go. And Kaskrin is overly jubilant, like this is a little bit much.
He's the guy at the party who's having a good time but is out of equilibrium from everyone else.
And Kaskrin will, kind of talk over to Brill, and it's like, yeah, see, you just had to do like a this, and Kaskrin's gonna like make like the shape that you have to be in to
No, Cass, it was more like a this. And Jekker just like puts his foot out in another position.
Also, for listeners at home, the Zangs literally did the same move opposite each other in perfect twin synchronicity. And Namgar's like, all right, yes, all right. Hey, Val, Self, Checkers, he kind of yells from across the room a little bit. You all seem all right. We'll keep you under watch, of course, but seems to me you guys succeeded. Maybe you need some rest back at the guild hall, huh?
Could Val during this time have gathered all the books?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Well, one of them was still inside of a water barrel, for example. And
Checkers has been really talking it up, and I'm assuming Val had time to just grab all the books
absolutely
needed. So she'll, as Namgar kind of says that, Val will respond of like, yeah, Nam, I mean, I'm not sure what's going on with Cass, but like, I think we're, besides that, mostly fine. Maybe just head to the guild hall and rest up, check in with Berga. But we did get all 5 books that were requested.
Vina says all 5?
All 5.
All right. Whenever you're ready, let me know. I will come and learn whatever you have to tell me, unless there's anything pressing that you feel like I should know beyond a ghost book, pile of books, and a bird spirit. Just tell me, and I will make my way over to you. I will bring the shield with me, and we will proceed from there. But once again, thank you all for what you've done again for this city.
Vina, before you go, I do have to say that one of the books, the Libra Morte, was in a part of the restricted section that was probably the true test of us retrieving what we needed. And in order to get that book out of the library, I did have to make a pact with it. It is bound to me and I to it. I will be writing the illustrious Atheum as they have procedures for this kind of sentience in literature. I know Andromeda can help me with the paperwork for the Red City, but this type of power in a book, I think, would warrant additional assistance.
Understood. And you believe it to be safe enough for continued care at the Guildhall for the time being?
Yes.
All right. That's all I need to know for now. I may add a few additional members to the guard around your Guildhall for the next day or two. I may also bring additional expertise with myself and the shield when we come by, but and you can ask anyone, and they will tell you that this is a rare thing, what I'm about to say to you. I trust you to take care of it.
Thank you.
Namgar, Jack, please ensure that the Golden Tree are brought safely back to their Guildhall. Any of the rest of you, please do what you can to ensure that the restricted section stays restricted for the time being. Please let me know if anything else changes, and I'll be sure to debrief you all as soon as I'm able.
Selva's going to go up to Drenkar, Paulus, and Azan and just give them a pretty deep bow and just say,
Thank you for keeping the wards going for as long as you did. We wouldn't have made it out without you.
Paulus simply kind of gives a very gentle nod while both Azan and Trenkar both start talking at the same time. Azan, well, my services don't come cheap, but you do pay for the best. And Trenkar is like, well, you don't know how wild it actually was. You see, and goes on to, you hear his voice echoing down the hallway as you all walk away from him.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by A Foul Light Shines, a new free serial novel based on a D&D campaign. The Empire of Fire and Water has known 20 golden years of peace since the end of Agenion's War, a peace which is now in peril. When a ragtag group of friends intervene in a grotesque monster attack, they're too late to save a wounded man who leaves them with an encrypted journal and the words, "Trust no one, Tyir." Can the gang find Tyir, escape the claws of more strange monsters, and uncover the lurking threat to the Empire before it's too late? This story features themes of found family and strength in diversity, and is available for free on Campfire and Royal Road. A Foul Light Shines. Come for the fantasy. Stay for the cheese-obsessed goblin gunslinger. Dark Dice is a critically acclaimed actual play podcast brought to you by Fool and Scholar Productions. With over 20 awards in sound design, Dark Dice brings its horror-themed campaigns to life with snappy combats, terrifying monsters, and tons of original music. Each episode is only 45 minutes long and features an all-star cast of seasoned role players and first-time players alike, including folks you might recognize, like Jeff Goldblum, Lily Pichu, and Jasper William Cartwright. Start with Season 1 and follow the adventurers on their quest to investigate a doppelganger, or jump into Season 2 and listen to a new story about a terrible, corrupting sound that infects all who hear it. Dark Dice is available for free however you listen to podcasts or at darkdice.com. So ask yourself, do you seek him? It is as if you blink and you are back at the Guildhall. The scenes from the library, walking down all the main thoroughfares all seem like a blur to you. Maybe because you are simply tired. Maybe because so little seems changed. Because you were gone for 4 hours or less. I actually have the numbers. So minus the Regency section, you guys were actually in there, I think, for a total of 3 hours. 3 hours and 3 minutes.
Wow. So it's time for lunch, basically.
And then
we got here after breakfast.
Precisely. And then there was Regency, which was kind of an hour-ish, basically. So you guys were right up against it. But also, yeah, you got there first thing in the morning, other than doing some light mischief down at the Waveless Lake. And yeah, it is lunchtime that you guys have experienced all of this. But again, in no time, you wind your ways through the now familiar streets of the Red City, and you find yourself back at the Guildhall. Namgar gives you guys a clap on the back and is like, we'll leave you guys here. Like Venus said, we'll be posting a couple of guards just to make sure... Well, I'll put it this way. When I was briefed about it, both to make sure that nothing followed you out, that you guys don't, like explode or something. That's not, as you know, that's not really my area of expertise. But people will be around shortly. I think Jack and I will be down at Torts and Ports. Actually, you guys, I think, are technically in sort of a quarantine. We'll have one for ya.
Val will, trudge up the steps of the guild hall, and as she passes Namgar, be like, thanks, Namgar. We'll quarantine for 24 hours until notified otherwise. And then we'll just, look back and see Kaskrin starting to follow Namgar and just, horse collar him and grab him and pull him up the stairs.
Rain check, Cask. It's just fine. It's fine. It'll still be there.
All right.
I assume Val makes no headway in moving Cass, so Selv and Checkers might have to help her out.
But my torts and ports.
Namgar turns back around and pretends like he's walking into Torts and Ports with you, but it is the guild hall.
You guys, we have to celebrate. We did a good thing today. We crushed it. We got all 5 books. We made it out under the time limit. We're the best.
We are the best, Cass. We really, really are.
Is anybody up for maybe a trivia game or something when we get back to the guild hall?
You're not funny, You're not funny, Selv.
Caskrin's immediately triggered.
It sobers up immediately, 100% back to normal. God damn it.
As Val opens the guild hall doors, I imagine Burga is there.
Burga actually is not there.
No.
Burga is currently gone. And there's a moment where it's like lunchtime, but middle of the day, and Burga had a good idea of kind of what your timeline was. So you would expect her to be there, but she isn't there. So you have kind of a moment of silence as you guys enter into the guild hall.
Nope. Val immediately looks for a note from Burga saying where she went.
There isn't one.
Val storms out of the guild hall, shouts at Nam. Nam, where is my guildmaster Burga?
Or are we greeted by
Taroth?
Inside the guild hall, those who haven't stormed out looking for Namgar here. Hello, guilders.
Hello, Taroth.
A terrible little imp, Taroth, pops out from behind the desk. And he is wearing a tie. A business tie. He's actually kind of hovering in Burga's space because there's no chair there. And even if there was, it would not be built for tiny imp proportions. And he's just kind of hovering there with his gross little imp wings. And he's like, can I help you?
Taroth, what are you doing here? Isn't this normally where Burga sits?
Why, I am being of service.
But why? Did Burga have to run some errands? I mean, that is fine, but usually she leaves a note.
Oh, yes. No, she is taking care of very important business. And I am here to ensure everyone is welcome to the guild hall. Welcome to the guild hall.
I, Sophie, think this is hilarious. Val is suspicious and ready to murder anyone.
That Taroth has finally has broken bad and has betrayed everyone and is the big bad after all.
Yes.
And Kaskrin will kind of like look over the counter just to make sure nothing's hiding under there.
Or to make sure Berga's body is displayed out on the floor. Yeah.
Huh?
Please come in to our home. Yes.
Thank you, Taroth. There is one thing I would like to take care of before we, or at least I, take a well-deserved nap. I will be back in a moment.
Selv will turn around and kind of just go outside and head down to see Hody.
The therapy donkey.
Yes, the winged therapy donkey.
Hody's not there either.
Oh.
Neither is Colaprico.
Oh, no. We never left the restricted section, you guys.
Did Nam
It's all
respond
simulation.
to Val?
So what did you say again? Just that
Val immediately turned around when Berga was not there to greet her and yelled down the street, "Nam! Where is my guildmaster Berga?"
Nam is literally has the door opened towards Porus and is comically frozen in midair as he's taking a step through the entryway and then turns back and is
Almost made it.
I don't know. I haven't.
I am under quarantine, so I cannot search for her.
Yeah. So we should.
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. Jack, you go to the shops, the main strip. I'll check in here. Just make sure that she's not in here. We'll
Val?
check in.
Val sends Nam a mind link.
Nam is not laughing. Nathan is laughing. Just to be very clear.
Val sends Nam a mind link. It's there is a 65% chance that Berga is in Torts and Ports, but if it's the 35%, you need to leave Torts and Ports after checking.
I am a professional. I think I'm a lieutenant, maybe. Nathan doesn't remember.
I thought you were going to say, Namgar, I know 12,013 gross animal facts. And if you don't find Berga, I will tell you all of them.
Traumatize you. I have killed people with these facts.
I was also kind of picturing Namgar just opens the door and goes, "Hey, Berga, are you in here?"
Yes, I'm in here.
Yeah, she's in here.
All good. All good. She'll be along in, 90 minutes or so. It was please, I understand. Yes.
I'm highly stressed.
Maybe I'll bring you guys some ales or some ports.
I think it's called for mousewort.
Yeah. You see Namgar 45 seconds later walk back out of Torts and Ports, look over at the guild hall to see you still watching, and then go the other direction.
And then after Selv discovers that Hody is not where she normally is, he will turn around and go back to the guild hall.
And there is no telltale smoke or sparks or any such strange emissions from your potionsmith Etrus's shack as well.
And just to confirm, there are other people on the streets, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is David, I really love that you asked that question. I appreciate that you respect me enough that I would have been like, nope, whole place has been evacuated.
Yeah.
No, it is just that it was you guys were sleepy and it was all a blur.
Val immediately sits down and starts casting Locate Object on Berga's wheelchair.
On any of Berga's. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. And does it stay active? Or does it just ping once?
It is concentration up to 10 minutes.
Oh, great.
1,000 feet.
So everyone settles down and...
Val is not settled.
Yeah,
she is agitated and pacing.
I realized that was not proper word choice. And actually, probably no one settles down because Taroth continues kind of just being around everyone.
Does he keep saying, "Welcome to the guild"?
May I be of service to you all, my guild masters.
I would like to say that Checkers is taking the opportunity while we have Guildmaster Taroth to switch his living arrangements with the map room so that he can finally be in the best room in the guild hall.
You'll have to talk to everyone else about that, I think.
Well, I just have to talk to Taroth about that. As the guild master, he has final say.
So several minutes go by, and
Val will be pacing the perimeter of the guild hall to extend locate object as far as possible without breaking quarantine.
you are the meme of that one kind of chubby man who just goes and like stares pensively at things and looks and waits and has like arms behind your back and everything.
Do you go up to the roof to get better reception?
Yeah, probably. Eventually, you all hear or see the door flung open to the guild hall with a whir of activity and two voices arguing, of which I don't think I can properly emote because they're both very weird voices. But you hear yet another surprisingly comforting cacophony of Burga, Etrus's drawl, a braying donkey, and a chicken just screaming.
The real Golden Tree Adventuring Guild.
Exactly. As they bust the door, and a shout starts to go up. Hello? Hello? Is it Taroth? Are they here?
Val sprints as fast as possible, possibly breaking her neck going downstairs.
Oh, God. Greater restoration. Oh, no.
I don't have that yet.
Yeah. You're the only one that knows how to resurrect people now.
And runs straight into the cacophony, hugging everyone she possibly can.
Oh, you're back! And everyone, if anyone else is filtering,
We're back!
Gives you guys a variety of different pats on the back. You see Checkers, Burga smiles, but at the same time glares at you, knowing exactly what you're doing.
I imagine like Checkers and Taroth are like drawing up new architecture plans.
I know. I'm just imagining they're both like have like one. Like Taroth is attempting to help Checkers move his cot downstairs into the map room. That's why Val fell down the stairs.
Yes.
They're moving his stuff.
There's already chalk lines of where we're just gonna knock this wall down, really open up this space.
Open floor plan.
And they are all just laden with bags of stuff. And they're all, oh, we're so sorry we missed you. Oh my goodness, you're back. You've made it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Val hasn't stopped hugging the last person she hugged. Maybe it's Colaprico's just in her arms.
It's a constant hug. Yo, I'm sorry. We got waylaid is the only way for. Man, this city, it's crazy. Always moving, always something happening. Did you all hear? Right before you guys went, I guess, or something, that there was some sort of like a predator or like an attack or something down by the Waveless Lake this morning?
No, I didn't hear that. What happened?
We don't know, but we've been stuck down there for hours. And eventually, everyone welcomes you back. Hody is kicking up her little feet. Her little nubs are wiggling around in ways that, again, unfortunately, you can't tell whether these are wing flaps or weird little spidery, kind of wiggles. But either way, they are definitely happy and fill you with joy, despite them being kind of creepy. And they say, all right, take your rest. While you do, we will get you. We got lots of snacks. We were supposed to be ready when you were back, but it's fine. It's fine. You rest. There will be snacks. You will catch us all up. You will let us know you are all safe. That is good. Burga, shoos you guys physically up the stairs into your various rooms.
Val allows herself to be shooed, but then when the coast is clear, we'll go to the desk of doing.
At one point, Val, you snuck back in to the desk of doing, and Burga, she and everyone else are very clearly, including Hody, who has now apparently been outfitted with saddlebags that she carries around as practice, and she's very proudly carrying around just 3 loaves of bread and some crackers.
You gotta build her strength up.
Exactly. She's getting used to it, and she looks just thrilled about it. She's so happy to be helping. But you see Burga come by with Hody, and Etrus is going back and forth, clearly putting together something in kind of your guys' meeting room. And Burga kind of gives you just does a double take, sees that you're in there, kind of glares at you. There's kind of a shared moment, and then she just kind of waves and is like, whatever, do whatever you need to do.
Kaskrin was hyped and ready to celebrate and really just revel in the success that we had as the Golden Tree. But the second he is pushed into this room and the door is shut and he sees the wonderful sight of his bed in front of him,
filled with designer sheets,
Exactly.
the thread counts, etc.
With the baby blue shoes, just like perfectly organized right next to the bed for whenever he needs it. All the energy drains out of him. And suddenly the room looks much cozier. And Kaskrin, in the same way where he blinked and then he was here, suddenly he blinks again and he is out of his adventuring clothes into his silk satin PJs. And it feels like the bed is calling to him. And he's going to go ahead and like tuck himself in. I'll say that after moving his hammock back outside from the map room, you can find Checkers, Mango, and Junior floating on top of the hot spring, all taking a snooze. Mango laying back, Checkers on his belly, and then Junior on Checkers' belly, floating there, having a nice relaxing time.
Selv will go into his room and basically take a small mat or rug and put it on the floor next to the bed and meditate for a little bit to calm himself, relax his body, because he knows if he goes to bed while still being all wound up, he might be sore when he gets up. So just going to take a little time to relax the mind, relax the body, and then climb into the bed and take a little nap.
The day kind of goes along. You all are able to rest. You're able to short rest in case, just remember that in case you get into combat later, I guess. And you all eventually make your way down, feeling somewhere between refreshed and just awful. That kind of, I overexerted myself and my body has been carrying me through things and now it's not, and I feel awful. But you are all still alive and have not grown any tentacles or strange fancy feathers or anything in the meantime. Eventually, you all find yourselves back in the meeting room where your large desk that is you have received so many people at is now filled almost just table edge to table edge with a variety of snacks and meals where it ranges from cheese platters, several cheese platters, in fact, to just a whole large ham just sitting there. And all sorts of nonsense that are laid out. You also see pictures of some sort of glowing orange concoction that are just kind of sitting there. You presume, you haven't seen anything like it. You presume it is something Etris has done.
Val will ask Etris if it is safe to consume before consuming it, but goes straight for the glowing orange drink.
Obviously, it is technically a food. So, yeah.
I've had 3 cups already, as Etris is also glowing orange.
And I'm fine.
I want to say, Mango goes straight up to Kaskrin and just looks up at him with the biggest eyes. Bigger than any eyes he's ever had.
Which is perfect because Mango is definitely big enough to, like, get on the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's a good boy.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaskrin is going to slowly take Mango over to the side of the table, and it's just going to be like, no, Mango, you can't have any. This is not frog food. You can't have any of this. And then make sure that everyone else hears him say that. And over the course of the next few hours, Mango gets inexplicably just a little bit rounder. For no reason whatsoever.
Kaskrin is casting a large frog on Mango, yes.
He just, as he settles, he just gets larger. What happened? I don't know. Weird, huh? Right?
I'm just imagining 2 cats like, oh man, Butterfingers, you know? Oh man.
Kaskrin just like is miming eating food and just like passing it down to Mango.
So very quickly, one of the 2 of your guild members or guild mates asks, "So, hey y'all, so what happened?"
You know what? I actually like it when Checkers tells the story.
He's actually pretty accurate.
Both of them look at Val and like glare and just disbelieving, and then slowly turn to Checkers, like, Checkers, please tell us of your very factual adventures.
Well, now everyone's looking. I don't want to do it anymore.
So Val will jump into the beginning of the story, assuming that as she starts going checkers will eventually
Yeah, I can't do it when everyone's looking. Yeah, right? I'm self-conscious.
She'll start going into like the very boring detail of like the wards and stuff and like the procedure of how we got in and like meeting Titanius. And I feel like at that point, like the second the Grand Servicius enters, that's probably the latest checkers would hop in.
Exactly.
But
and Cashgrin, as the story is going, is really like almost overselling the dramatic, the heroic moments that we went through. Like as we survived the crashing airship, as we took down the Grand Serviciousness, as Selv dealt the final blow to Larry's thieves to get us out of the restricted section. Like
now, y'all, I'm really confused. So this was not Trip Steves. This was a different Steves that looked like him?
yes.
Sounds like y'all had a wild time. Y'all should have either way less or way more of that drink.
I'm going for more.
Yeah, that's probably the right call.
can't have any less of it now.
I feel like there is a non-insignificant amount of time where Val has to explain Quincy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, big time.
Like, thankfully, that's the end of the story, so Checkers didn't get to that part with Jack Brill.
Val is totally making kissy faces at this book. You gotta hear it.
This is the book?
And Val will, like, describe in detail Quincy to Berga and Etris, because I feel like they both would get it.
Oh, they're enraptured. Yeah. Both of them are just like, so, like, is this like a do not touch the book kind of situation? Or, like, if someone were to, like, read it in the coming weeks? Well, wait. Okay, this is like a two-part question. So, first, would that be, like, bad, for, like, oh, might damage it, or we might get possessed? And also, is it weird if I read your boyfriend?
And Val will break down her theories of book personages to Etris and dive into everything.
Eyes glaze over, and eventually is like, so is that that's like a yes, I can read it?
Yes.
Okay, great. And Berger's like, I'll have it after.
Val will also say, like, Cass has
I did call
a copy.
Sure. I have an unsigned copy, but I do have a copy.
I will wait for the signed copy.
I would do the same, Etris.
As your guys' story kind of winds down, and there's a bit of that awe, I guess, of the observed life of an adventurer. Everyone is contented and full. And somehow there was a whole separate jerky course from Pete's Meats that had a little note from Pete himself that says, "Hey, keep gilding," and signed
Gilder's
Pete.
gonna gild.
Yeah, and Berga eventually just kind of looks around the table and says, it sounds a little complicated, obviously." Are you all planning to still go through with the plan, with the books, the witch, the bones?
I think right now, to save the bones, we have to. I'd like to do some research into the books while we have time, but it's not an easy decision.
We know that Lorana is a very powerful sorceress, and giving her a book with the knowledge contained in the Liber Morte would make her only that much more powerful. But what choice do we have? She seems to be the only one with the knowledge to save the bones using this book. And I think the bones are important enough to the city that it's worth the risk.
From what we know right now, I agree that our best bet is to give Lorana what she needs in order to get a permanent solution to the issue of the problem with the bones.
Yeah, I don't want to hang on to these things any longer than we have to.
That all makes sense. I suppose I would say, in this sort of work, as you all know, there are a lot of strange and difficult choices to be made, and all we can do is make choices with the information we have. I think a lot of people would be very grateful for the bones to be back, but from what little I know of the shield, if you were to say the risk was not enough, then I think you would understand that as well. So I think whatever you choose will be a wise direction. Anyway, I hope you all have saved some room because, and she claps a little bit, and you hear a dragging sound from out in the hallway, and it's like 5 or 10 seconds. It's like an uncomfortable amount of dragging as you see Taroth come around the corner, dragging what may qualify as one of the largest pies in existence.
Nice.
So much that he has to kind of tip it to the side to get it through the doorway. And he says, let me help you with that, little guy. Let me help. Etrus goes down, bends it over, says, thank you. And on top, just a huge fruit pie is just plopped onto the table. And on the side is an embossed, it just says torts and ports over and over. So torts and ports and torts and ports and torts and ports and torts and ports and torts and ports.
Boots and cats and boots and cats and
And
boots
on the
and cats.
top of it is is stamped the golden tree leaf on top of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we everyone wanted to thank you for what you had done, and so enjoy. And thank you all for being such wonderful representatives.
This is a wonderful looking pie. I almost don't want to eat it. Almost.
I am digging in. This is fantastic.
No cutlery, just hands.
Yeah, Checkers has already dug up 2 handfuls of pie.
Cascarin has his regular fork and his pie-eating fork, which is 3 times bigger.
More of a fork shovel for a pie spork in a way. Thankfully, the afternoon slips into evening, slips into night, and you are all able to essentially, thank goodness, we've killed enough time so we can all go back to sleep.
Cascarin is on the couch in the front room with Mango by his side, and both of them just have like their mouths wide open, just snoring like the loudest snores.
Did they make it to the front room, or did they just fall asleep in the chairs?
They might have just fallen asleep in their chairs, but like their bellies are totally full, and it's just like
Gamison's a little tight.
Yeah.
I will kind of, after we finish eating and talking, and I make sure I get plenty of dessert, I'm going to go out back to the hot spring. I am going to use one of my monk abilities to freeze a section of the water, enough to climb on top of it and just kind of lie there and float and relax, looking up at the sky. And then once that has melted enough to no longer support my weight, I will go inside, dry off, and go to bed.
Checkers fell asleep in the pie.
Fully just curled up.
Covered in pie filling. He's cuddling a crust.
I think Val kind of sits there with Berga and Etrus, and like she's just staring at the stack of books. Probably just 4 books as Cass has taken, courting the Coriander King in his possession to make sure he's reading.
It's in hot demand. Cass has got on it.
Yeah.
he fell asleep with the book like half open, like on his chest, and he just like slipped into sleep.
Cashkin started he's like, all right, well, I'll read you one of my favorite chapters as we wind down the evening. Yeah. So Val, you're looking at the stack of books, and I'm imagining the camera kind of shifts perspective, where it's looking at you kind of from one profile, and then kind of sweeps around the room and now is looking at you from this other angle. And as you're looking at the books, the faint outline of the human asterisk form of the Libra Morte is just kind of standing back and to your left, where it has been standing since you exited the library.
Val feels its presence. And it's not necessarily uncomfortable, but it's unfamiliar. And I think Val is having an internal debate of where the books should stay and kind of wondering if it will make a difference, if that presence will be removed with any type of distance or not. I think Val, knowing that it won't, will bid Berga and Etris goodnight and take the stack of 4 books upstairs with her and place them safely in her room, telling Colaprico to stand guard, roosting on top of the books.
And the whole time, this individual is mounting the stairs with you, goes into your room with you, seems interested in what you're doing, but kind of as soon as you start settling in for the night, this, I think I described it as a male figure, just turns and looks out the window at the Red City. And simply says, "Soon we shall begin our studies in earnest, I have no doubt." And that is where we'll end this week's episode, everybody. See you next time! Yay!
We're out of the library.
Reckless attack!
Val is cozy at the desk doing it.
That's probably true.
She's pulled out the heated blanket, wrapped herself in it, got the little teapot going, set the lumbar support to heat too, really massage chair.
Yeah, you
vibes.
might be the most comfortable person in
Pulled
the
out
whole
the little
place.
tea kettle,
Yeah.
desk of
Yeah.
doing.
Colaprico's in her lap, and she's starting her reports and filling out the illustrious Athean paperwork for not following the proper procedure, making a pact with a book.